problem head on. The problem that they all will admit that they have is resources to get the job done. When CERV was established back in 2003, it was the result of the civil unrest of 2001. We saw what was going on. The individuals that were out there throwing the big bricks and setting the fires and doing the shootings, they were young African American males for the most part between the ages of 14 and 25. So we had to address those individuals in particular. And the only way you can address them is first you have to gain their confidence. The only way you're going to gain their confidence is you have to be able to speak their language. Right. And the only ones that can speak their language is those who've been there and done that. That's why we were able to bring on folks like Peterson Mingo and some of the others, Jim Rashid, all those individuals. And we had the resources behind us. But once the city got stabilized, once the politics in it, we started to see defunding of the program, we started to see a splintering of the program, and it got disjointed. In other words, when you know what the problem is, you can't just fix it for a little while. You have to have a continuous effort. Where we've gotten away from that continuous effort, and now you see what happens. And this is identical to what happened in 2001. Right after the civil unrest, we started to see an uptick in violence. Ron Twitty stated his son lost his life in 2003. We started the CERV initiative in 2003. But now that we've had unrest in our city again, and we're seeing this uptick in violence, and it's the same thing around the country. So what I'm saying to all of you, we need advocacy from the media to allow for a concerted effort of resources to address this problem long term. To go back and look at what we were doing that was extremely successful in 2001. I should say 3 when we started the CERV initiative. Very successful. But then we lost it, I believe it was 2009. And since then, we've been seeing an uptick in violence to the point where we're on our way to record homicide.
How much in funding did you guys lose?
Oh, wow. Oh. Let me put it to you this way. I looked at what was going on in Boston. I was the head of the Human Relations Commission at the time. I looked at what was going on in Boston, Massachusetts. They had what was called the Boston Miracle. They had over 23 or 24 street monitors or street advocates working the streets of Boston because they wanted to make sure that all the young people had, we called them interveners, preventing violence and all that stuff. These life coaches is what these street advocates are. They were connecting up with 10, 15, maybe 20 clients, each one in Boston. We have 5, I think. How many do we have on the street?
5.
5.
You're right, 5.
5. And so we lost, I think we originally had 13 at the time, or somewhere in that nature. But they cut it down to 5, and it's been a downhill process ever since. And but we know what works. Folks came from around the world. Scotland Yard came to Cincinnati to look at the CERV program, to retrofit it to their area. Other parts of the state of Ohio funded it and retrofitted it in other major cities in the state of Ohio. So we know it works, because the only way you're going to stop the violence is you got to give the individuals some hope.
That's right.
And that hope comes with opportunity. And when you get into one of these young men's lives, there's a whole lot of baggage. And not only do you get into his life, you get into his family's life. Mom may need some help. Some of the sisters may need help. But the CERV team was armed and equipped with the resources to get them the help they need. And they didn't just say, here, take this document and take it over wherever. They went with them. And they stayed with them throughout their transitioning process.
Is this official ask? Are you officially asking the city council and Mayor Cramley to increase funding in this?
What we're going to do is we got to look at, see, the business community was also involved. The clergy was also involved. The community at large was also involved. In other words, the collective minds of all of these various organizations that have impact have to come back together and put the CERV initiative, as it originally was intended, put it back together, put the resources behind it. All of these individuals could be part of CERV. One entity speaking the same language to get the job done. and I can almost guarantee you will see a significant decrease in your gun violence.